Hello, this is Doug Wilkerson. It's been a while. This is Old School Boxing Talk number 8, and tonight's video is going to be switch and bait. Now, recently, when I last left you, there was a whole bunch of different things going on in boxing, and I just took some time to do some other things, irregardless. When we were talked about earlier this year, there were two fights being talked about. Gennady Golovkin was supposed to fight Chris Eubanks, and Kell Brooks was supposed to fight Jesse Vargas. Now, most of us sit back and we say, we hear about Golovkin is now going to fight Kell Brooks. And everybody's saying, well, why did this happen? What happened? This was happening. This. Here's what we got. We got the switch and bait, folks. Those two fights were never going to happen. And I'm going to explain to you why. Kell Brooks, who's 36-0, fighting the only quality guy on his resume, is Shawn Porter. And the funny thing is, while Shawn Porter gave Kell Brooks the opportunity, has anybody ever wondered why Kell Brooks never gave Shawn Porter a rematch? Or was there never a rematch clause in place? That's a question to ask yourself. So, Kell Brooks, you look at the welterweight division. You have Jesse Vargas, you have Keith Thurman, and you have Danny Garcia. Okay, well, Kell Brooks and Kell Brooks' number one contender, let's not forget Earl Spence Jr., who many believe, including myself, could be the future of the welterweight division. But I digress. Let's go back. So, Kell Brooks looks at his future. He's looking down the road. He wants a big money fight with Amir Khan. But here's the thing about that fight. Nobody in Britain, even though he's a British fighter, nobody in the British boxing scene really gives a rat's ass about Kell Brooks, because they, like us, realize Kell Brooks has fought nobody, and they're not really sold on Kell Brooks. And Amir Khan knows that. So Amir Khan is like, if I'm going to get my chin checked, it's not going to be against Kell Brooks. He's not going to make a name of himself off of me. He's going to have to beat somebody other than getting scraping by Shawn Porter. So Amir Khan decides, you know what? I'm going to do something I've been chasing, trying to get a Mayweather fight. I've been chasing, trying to get a Pacquiao fight. The same way Mayweather and Pacquiao felt about Khan is the same way Khan feels about Brooks. He's not worthy of the fight. Okay, so Amir Khan is looking around, trying to get a big money fight. But at this point in his career, I think that's all Amir Khan wants is big money fights. And who's looking for a patsy of an opponent? Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo Alvarez says, hey, come up here to 155, fight me for the lineal middleweight championship. Oh, and I have the WBC belt at this moment. So, yeah, we'll put those on the line. You come up here and we'll make some money. And Amir Khan's like, well, I'm going to get my chin dented. I'm going to go up there and fight, Canelo Alvarez and get knocked the fuck out because I'll make some money. And it hires my profile, because this is the thing you need to realize about boxing. Even in a loss, if you spin it the right way, it could actually be a win. So for Amir Khan, he goes up to fight Canelo Alvarez. He afterwards, after getting knocked out, immediately he and Virgil Hunter going to damage control, spin control. Well, we're not really a middleweight. We're barely really a welterweight. We're just junior welterweights. We're just struggling to fight welterweights. We're not really that big, so they start the damage control. But we took the fight because we want to challenge ourselves. And realizing they want to do business with him later on, Jim Lampley and HBO says, yeah, we'll co-sign that. Okay, so now you have Gennady Golovkin, who realized he's not going to get the Canelo fight because Golovkin, who is 35-0, fighting nobody of merit on his record at all. At least Kell Brooks has Shawn Porter. Golovkin, who's been tripping over every trash can he can to find something, digging under their bums, whatever, that weigh 160 pounds, sticking them in the ring to knock off, and HBO's been helping improve those fights. Golovkin is looking for an opponent now because he's not making any money because you're not willing to take the chance to pay the price to be great. And that's the problem with Golovkin and Tom Loeffler. They're not willing to pay the price to be great. And of course, HBO is also not going to let them pay the price to be great. So they're looking for a fight. Golovkin says, I need another tomato can to knock over this year. And then unfortunately, with no tomato cans, no bums, all the homeless people found homes. That way, they all found homes. There was nobody there. So now they had to look at the real middleweight division. Oh my God. You mean really fight a real middleweight? Yeah, a real middleweight. So there's Danny Jacobs, there's Peter Quillins, and there's Chris Eubanks Jr., who are all saying, hey, Golovkin, they're knocking the door. Hey, Galati, we'll fight you. And the reason Golovkin is people and HBO keep telling people that nobody wants to fight him, Golovkin and Tom Lowell lowball everybody. They want you to take some short-ass chump change to fight him. Well, they make they want to make the big money. What they don't realize is Eubanks, Quillin, Jacobs, these guys are making more money than Golovkin. So if they're making more money than Golovkin, why the hell are they going to take less money to fight Golovkin? But that's, the business side of boxing. Tom Loeffler and HBO realize they got to protect this kid. So here we go. Eddie Hearns has to find an opponent for a safe opponent for Kell Brooks. And Tom Loeffler and HBO have to find a safe opponent for Gennady Golovkin. So here we come. After the media starts to field out and the boxing community in general starts turning on Golovkin and Kell Brooks for fighting nobodies and saying you got quality people here, especially Brooks, when Brooks says, and I quote, there's been links all over the internet saying, Kell Brooks says, in 2017, I'm moving up to junior middleweight. And it's kind of convenient that he says in 2017, I'm moving up to junior middleweight just when Earl Spence is supposed to fight to become his manager because he doesn't want that work from Spence. Honestly, I don't think anybody wants that work from Spence, but we'll get back to that. Now, they need an opponent. So you're not going to fight Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman's fighting Sean Porter. And even Keith Thurman was if Keith Thurman was like, I got nobody to fight and I got nothing to do, Eddie Hearns and Kell Brooks were not going to call out Keith Thurman. They want no part of Keith Thurman. Then there's Danny Garcia, who's going to wind up, I guess, later this year beating up Andre Berto or the shell of Andre Berto. Again, if Danny Garcia said, I got nothing to do, I'll fill the card, Eddie Hearns and Kell Brooks, Danny, we want to fight in London. Danny said, I'll come to London. And I'm sure Keith Thurman said, I'll come to London. I'm like, you know what? They got a man and one excuse. They don't want that fight. So, who can we fight or attempt to tell the public we're going to fight to make us look credible? There's Jesse Vargas, because Jesse Vargas has some doubts about him. And if you look at the three champions, who's the weakest of the bunch? Jesse Vargas. So Jesse Vargas, some questions about him losing to Bradley, beating Saddam Ali, who nobody really thought was really real. So, that sounds good. It's a unification fight. And it's also to take people's mind off the fact that you're also telling us ahead of time, I'm not fighting Earl Spence Jr. I'm going to fight. I'm skipping out. I'm gone. So I'm going to vacate the IBF title. But what I'd like to do is, maybe if I fight this fight with Jesse Vargas, win that WBO belt, I could then skip out, drop the IBF belt for reasons unknown, and skip out at 154, and nobody will be the wiser. Wrong. So they get there, they sit down with Bob Arum and Jesse Vargas, their people, and Jesse's like, yeah, I'll take this money and I'll do this. And Jesse's like, yeah, we'll come to London, blah, blah. Everything they want, Jesse Vargas agreed to. Except, here's the thing, Jesse. Let me let you in a little secret. You were never going to get the fight. You were a diversion. You were bait. Part one. Now we go to the other side. Gennady Golovkin, he's run out of bums. There's no more trash men, no more homeless men, no more nothing to fight. You now have to find and fight a real middleweight. The WBA says we have a regular titles, we have an interim titles. You're due for a mandatory with Danny Jacobs or Chris Eubank Jr. And of course, there's always the option of Peter Quillen. Tom Loeffler looks at that shit and says, man, and I'm sure HBO's like, man, we ain't fighting them guys. Fuck that. We are not fighting any one of them. So what are we going to do? Tom Loeffler and Eddie Hearn is in the same situation. They need to protect their investment, but if they're going to lose their investment, let's make some money off of this. So, Eddie Hearn is the promoter for Chris Eubanks. So, they're talking, they're pretending to talk. And they say, hey, we're going to make the Eubanks fight. And everybody's like, oh shit, Glover's going to fight one of the real boys. Oh shit, because Eubanks is no joke. They're like, okay, he's going to fight a real guy. That's the bait, folks. Again, Eddie Hearn has baited us here. Eddie Hearn and Tom Loeffler got together and started bait us here. And HBO's like, yeah, but HBO knows the end game. We ain't fighting either one of these boys. We're going to put these two undefeated boys together in 12 battle of undefeated champions, and we're going to blow this thing up to make it look like it was a big deal. How do we start that? Okay, we start that with the talk of there's a problem with the Jesse Vargas fight and Kell Brooks. There's a problem with that fight coming together. Even though Jesse Vargas agreed on everything, all of a sudden, Kell Brooks not happy with the money he's making. Okay. So, that's starting to crumble, so people paying attention to that. Over here, it looks like the Golovkin Eubanks fight, everything's going according. No, we're going to sign this big money fight, blah, blah, blah. Eubanks, blah, blah, blah. Looks good. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Kell Brooks versus Gennady Golovkin signed, sealed, and delivered. And everybody's wondering, well, when were they negotiating this fight? Well, he was negotiating the fight. Brooks was negotiating the fight. Vargas and Golovkin was negotiating the fight. Chris Eubanks. When did this happen? I'm gonna tell you when this happened. When HBO treats fighters like an investment. We're an investment. Gennady Golovkin's an investment. Now, Eddie Hearn realized that HBO was going to have the Eubanks fight. It don't matter. Eubanks could have agreed to anything. First of all, Chris Eubanks Sr., former world champion, was not going to take short money for his son to whoop that ass, which I think Eubanks Jr. would have whooped that ass. And Gennady Golovkin didn't want that work. Abel Sanchez can talk all that shit he wants, but Abel Sanchez, trainers know who their fighters can and cannot beat. And a lot of times, folks in boxing have to understand is this. When a fight doesn't get made, a lot of times it's not the fighter, it's the fighter's management and his trainer. And a job of a good trainer is to put your guy in with guys who he can beat, who there's weaknesses, where they're weak, your guys is extraordinarily strong. Now, you're not putting him in with Eubanks because everything Golovkin does well, Eubanks does well. Everything Golovkin does wrong, Eubanks does well. That's why Eubanks, that's why Quillen, that's why Jacobs are not getting those fights, because HBO has an investment in Gennady Golovkin. Now, HBO had an investment in Golovkin because when they lost Mayweather, and then, of course, Pacquiao, once Mayweather shut that question up, HBO's whole boxing budget went to shit. So they need a star. They need a star badly. And Golovkin was it. They're trying to turn Golovkin into their version of Marvin Hagler. Unfortunately, the great, marvelous Marvin Hagler fought anybody and everybody. And if Marvin Hagler was in his prime fighting today, he would whoop everybody's ass. I'm just saying it. So, Golovkin and Tom Lowell and Eddie Hearn realized they don't want these fights because the Jesse Vargas fight is a 50-50 fight. There's a chance, they don't want fights where there's a chance that they could lose. They took their risk fighting Sean Porter, and they barely got past Sean Porter. Barely got past Sean Porter. Now, matter of fact, you go back, that was a split decision win for Kell Brooks. It was 115-113, I believe, the two that won it on. But I digress. You're not taking those chances again. So Jesse Vargas is a risk. Jesse Vargas hit and hurt Tim Bradley in the 12th round. Jesse Vargas just knocked out Saddam Ali. So Jesse Vargas coming up 140. Jesse Vargas starting to grow into a welterweight. He's starting to develop some power there. That's a risk that Eddie Hearns don't want to take with his undefeated Kell Brooks. Because, the minute Kell Brooks loses, any value in Kell Brooks is gone. The only value he has with Kell Brooks is that, as he's undefeated. That's his only value, because even the fans in Britain aren't buying Kell Brooks. They don't care about Kell Brooks. So, you sit there, Eddie Hearns needs a good quality fighter. If I'm going to give up Kell Brooks' it's got to make me money down the road. Tom Loeffler and HBO looking for a patsy that, we can sell this fight, make a lot of money, and it's going to keep us moving. What happens? HBO steps in. They say to Loeffler and Eddie Hearns, look, we got these two undefeated boys with record 70-something and 0. We're going to make this fight. And here's what it's going to do for Kell Brooks. When Kell Brooks gets his jaw dented, here's what he's going to say. He's going to say, well, I did the same thing Amir Khan did. I went up and I took a chance to fighting the boogeyman, which HBO has found a way to make Golovkin his boogeyman. I took a chance to fight a boogeyman, to fight the guy nobody else wanted to fight. But I took a chance to fight him. So when Kell Brooks loses, that's what you're going to hear. Because they're going to try to use that to build up Kell Brooks. Now, here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen next for Kell Brooks. He's going to lose to Golovkin, as expected. He's going to talk about, I'm tough. I'm going to make I'm a tough guy, take on the toughest challenges. Okay, and he's going to try to sell that. And originally the plan was going to be, if we move to 154, which is what he planned to do to get away from Errol Spence, we're going to fight Liam Smith for that WBO junior middleweight title. Unfortunately, Canelo Alvarez got there first. So now we know Kell Brooks is not going to fight either one of the Charlo brothers. He's not going to fight Laura. Not going to do it. So what's Kell Brooks going to do? Kell Brooks is going to turn this loss into another loss, but both those losses are going to be big money losses. How? Kell Brooks is going to turn into a fight with going down, saying, I'm not really a middleweight. I'm not big enough for middleweight. And who's going to be looking for an opponent for next year for Cinco de Mayo? Canelo Alvarez. Canelo's going to need an opponent. HBO can say, hey, we can sell this, HBO going to sell the hell out of this. While Oscar and Canelo keep dangling the fact that, you want that Golovkin fight, right? Yeah, well, this might get us closer to that. HBO wants that super fight. They want that fight. So now Canelo Alvarez is going to be, Kell Brooks is going to be sacrificed to Canelo Alvarez next year on Cinco de Mayo. And he's going to lose for the second time. But again, his plan is I jumped up, I fought the biggest challenges, I fight whoever, I'm a warrior, I will fight whoever, whenever, I'm not blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. So, you'll fight who Eddie Hearns tells you to fight and like it. So Eddie Hearns is going to make his money off of Kell Brooks. So Kell Brooks' first two losses are going to be two big money fights. One to Golovkin and the next one to Canelo Alvarez. Which is then going to hopefully make Kell Brooks his fight that he wants to try to shame Amir Khan into fighting him in a big all-British battle that nobody cares about. But Kell Brooks Kell Brooks wants that fight. That's the fight he wants. So maybe we'll get that. But let's go. Okay, now we've talked about how Eddie Hearns' part of this bait and switch has happened. Now let's go to Golovkin's part. Golovkin and HBO's part in the bait and switch. Okay, now we have the Kell Brooks fight. We got away from fighting Eubanks, Jacobs, Quillen, or the only, real welterweights. We got away from fighting real middleweights. Woo! Now we're going to look at the fact that, okay, we're going down. There comes Cinco de Mayo next year. Don't be surprised if in a move to make the fight even closer, HBO and Golden Boy come up with a program where Canelo will fight. Canelo's going to fight and knock off this kid again. Oh, damn. Okay. I was just talking about him. Damn, we're talking about Kell Brooks. Canelo will fight Brooks, and Golovkin will find another soft touch to start the build-up to hopefully a big fight between Canelo and Golovkin, which is the fight HBO needs. They need this. Because here's the problem with HBO. When HBO decided to say fuck you to Al Heyman, and Oscar De La Hoya decided to say fuck you to Al Heyman. The big fuck you came to HBO and Oscar De La Hoya because Al Heyman advises his fighters. And what he does is he doesn't have his fighters signed to any one particular promotional company. He will use other promoters to promote their fights. But they're not beholden to any promoter, which is what fucked Oscar's stupid ass in the end, because Al Heyman knew this. I'm not lining my guys with any one promotion. I will work with you, but you don't own me. So if I get an offer from, if I have to work with Oscar De La Hoya, Oscar says, blah, blah, we can make this much money, okay. But if Don King comes to hell, I can make double that and blah, blah, blah. Well, we going with Don. It ain't no shit you can say because we're not contracted to you. Now, I miss Don King, I really do. Now, while the HBO was struggling to make these fights after both HBO and Golden Boy, especially more Golden Boy Golden Boy is going to make this fight because they really have nothing else. So after they make this fight here, they're going to try to make this fight here. But what's really going on is where HBO's ass hurt, and I see these lawsuits that Top Rank has filed, and I see Bob Arum and Al Heyman and I work together. What HBO is doing is HBO is trying to work Al Heyman and his crew back into their graces. Because right now Al Heyman has the PBC. Keith Thurman, Sean Porter both were in 3.1 million viewers. After the fight before was weak, they had it on primetime. It wasn't a primetime fight. And I'm thinking Al Heyman and the PBC have to learn, when you go primetime, you got to come big or go home. You know, don't bring that bullshit on primetime. Use that shit for FS1 and shit like that. If you go on NBC, Fox, ABC, CBS, you got to give us the big fights, which I'm sure, hopefully they've learned that. But what hurts is that HBO knows this. HBO's used to being the biggest game in town, the only game in town. Al Heyman has now shown them, we don't really need you. Because not only we got the PBC, hey, guess what? We have a working partnership with your rival, Showtime. Oh my gosh. Yes. Now we've got Showtime. And Showtime's boxers, Showtime has just signed an exclusive deal with Joshua. With Anthony Joshua, who I believe is going to be your next undisputed middleweight champion in the world, and a good one. They have Deontay Wilder, who's an Al Heyman guy, who his fights are on Showtime. Now all they have is Tyson Fury and Klitschko, and for now, and they have King Kong Ortiz. But look, I like Ortiz, but ain't nobody gonna really fight that boy. That boy dangerous. He ain't get no. I'm sorry, man. You're not getting no fight. That's just not happening, brother. You're a big heavyweight who can actually fucking fight. You're old as fuck, but you can actually fight. And Klitschko's not fighting you. Fury's not fighting you. I think maybe down the road you might get a fight with Joshua or Wilder, or the Joshua Wilder winner. But that's down the road. But that's pretty much how we got to where we got to with the Bait and Switch, folks. Eddie Hearns and Tom Loeffler both needed fights. The guys that were there to fight were both too dangerous for their fighters. So what they decided to do, Eddie Hearn decided to, you know what, use this guy, use Kell Brooks as a sacrificial pawn. It's just like a game of chess, folks. You got to use, sometimes as a pawn you have to sacrifice that pawn. And Kell Brooks is the pawn that's being sacrificed to Gennady Golovkin for the big money, because now you're in HBO's good graces, which means Kell Brooks is going to go from this not being beat up here, maybe finding some trash man at 154 to maybe getting a Canelo fight to lose the second fight, and maybe he'll get that Amir Khan fight and cash out. For Golovkin, we keep the money machine running until finally he has to fight somebody. And they're going to try as long as and as hard as they can to keep him fighting anybody that can fight. Because we might find out that behind the facade of Gennady Golovkin, he's not what we thought he was. But then again, on the other side, we might find out this boy is just the real deal. And we were all wrong. I don't know. But until you take the risk to be great, the jury's still out. It's like everybody talking about Antonio Tarver said, if you're undefeated, you're untested, you're overprotected unless you have the names on your resume. And that's the thing about everybody's bitch. Oh, Floyd Mayweather, does that mean Floyd Mayweather's all underrated? No. The names on your resume. If you're undefeated, who have you beaten? Floyd Mayweather's beaten a whole bunch of Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers on that undefeated 49-0 record of his. He's got a resume. Gennady Golovkin, Kell Brooks, they have nothing. Kell Brooks has a better resume than Gennady Golovkin because he has Sean Porter on it. Gennady Golovkin, you have nothing on your resume. You and Tom Loeffler and HBO did yourself a disservice by not fighting Eubanks. I'm sorry, if you say you want to be the man, my next 3 fights, if he's really as good as Abel Sanchez tries to tell us he is, would have been Eubanks, Quillen, Jacobs. Maybe not in that order, but those 3 guys is on my dance card because by fighting those are the 3 best guys beside me. And if I need to fight a 4th time, I'm going to take care of Asante Lara. I'm going to start taking care of the people that the boxing people that people are saying you are afraid of. You fight those guys. You beat those guys. And then you say, now how you like me now? And everybody's going to say, okay, Gennady, we owe you an apology. But you can't expect people to give you that apology until you fight the guys that are there. You got the Charlo brothers. Call them out. You got Andrades. Tell them, bring your ass, boy. Eubanks, Jacobs, bring your ass. Quillen, bring your ass. You want some? Bring your ass, bitches. And you throw that money out there. You get those fights. You win those, fight those fights. And if you win those fights, then, oh shit, this boy is as bad as we thought he was. If you lose those fights or come through, well, then okay. But the point, you're going to get respect even if you lose because you took the chance to be great. You dared to be great. And that's what boxing needs, fighters that dare to be great. And that is what we talked. That is what it's all about at the end of the day. Yes, it's about making money, but at the same time, when you put your legacy at the line, you got to dare to be great. You know, everybody talks about Mayweather cherry picked this, Mayweather cherry picked this. There's no cherry picking because if Wise and Floyd fought, the Mosley fight to show you round 2, Shane rocked the fuck out of Floyd. And everything Floyd was going for could have been over in an instant on that Mosley right hand. But Floyd showed who he was, what he was, got through that. Round 4, Pacquiao rocked him. Floyd again showed what he was, who he was, got through that, and won. The great ones take on the challenges. The great ones face adversity. The great ones, Floyd just happens to be a great one that makes adversity look easy. But you get through it. Ali, Norton, broken jaw. Muhammad got through it. Ali, Frazier, 1, 2, and 3. They were 3 of the toughest fights ever for Ali, but he got through them. Ali Foreman, yo, you're not winning that fight. He got through it. He came through. Ernie Shavers. The list goes on of great heavyweights Ali fought. Guys that, if they were fighting, they wouldn't dare get a fucking title shot. Great fighters find the toughest guys out there and they fight them and they beat them to prove themselves and prove to everybody else. So that when they say, hey, I want X amount of dollars, the public then says, you know what, this guy's a real deal. Yeah, we want to see him fight because we want to see if somebody can beat him. Golovkin hasn't done that. Kell Brooks hasn't done that. Keith Thurman is on the verge of doing that. With his win over Sean Porter, Keith Thurman is saying to everyone at 140 to 147, even some people 154, bring your ass. You want it? You don't call me out because I'm the motherfucker that you call out. I will knock at your door. Who's there? Keith Thurman. Now everybody thought Keith Thurman was scared. It's like, oh shit, Keith, that was another Keith Thurman. They find excuses. Great fighters, yes, it's a business. Never forget it's a business. But at the end of the day, great fighters take risks. Gennady Golovkin is not willing to take that risk. Kell Brooks is not willing to take that risk to be great. Amir Khan took the risk to make money. Canelo Alvarez is taking the risk to be great. He's fought Lara. He's fought Mayweather. He lost to Mayweather, but he came through it. But he fought him. He came through it. He beat up Lara. Lara gave him a hell of a fight, but he beat him. Great fighters take risks by fighting other great fighters. Yes, you don't always fight monster after monster after monster. But when you come time to fight a monster, you fight him. And then you get the money. Because you have to give, if boxing is prize fighting. But you have to bring the people in to get that prize. Gennady Golovkin, you're only making maybe $1 million a fight because the people don't believe in you. You try to say Mexican style, you try to leech off of Canelo's Mexican following, but they're not even believing in you because even if you fight the great tradition of Mexicans that fight, they fight people. Juan Marquez, 2-3 years off, busted up knee. Who's he come back? Because I want Miguel Cotto, another Hall of Famer. Marquez ain't sitting there talking about give me this, give me that. I mean, I have yet to see Marquez say, you know what, I want an easy fight. I'm going to fight Jesse Vargas. No, Marquez says I want the best. So that's all I got for you right now. We're going to try to get back, hopefully not as long as a delay. But this is David Wilkerson once again. Old School Boxing Talk number 8. The Bait and Switch. It happens, folks. This is not the first time it's going to happen. Well, it's not the first time it's happened. It's happened before. And it won't be the last time it happens. Let's just hope that the guys that we pay to see be the warriors that they're supposed to be will start giving us those fights. But remember, it's not always the fighters that determine those fights, but it's those promoters and those networks. In this case, HBO, Tom Loeffler, and Eddie Hearns decided the other fights that they promised us were too big of a risk. We're going to take the risk. We're going to take a risk that's going to make us a bunch of money. Kell Brooks, Gennady Golovkin, a lot's going to be talking about those undefeated records. But those undefeated records would be like NFL team going through and beating a bunch of Division 4 high school teams. They don't look at the resumes, folks. Don't let those glossy O's fool you. Who they beaten? For next time, it's Doe Wilson with Old School Boxing Talk.